Hi, my name is Matthew Bellisario. Thanks for coming by the BellisarioSonic YouTube channel from the heart of the Deep South on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, where we talk about music, records, do record reviews, interviews, and much more. Today, part two of this wonderful conversation I had with Cristiano Giardini. If you missed part one, go back and watch that. Discussed his career, how he got started in jazz, his jazz education, his love for jazz. That was part one. Part two is about the making of this fantastic record, which you should go definitely check out. You can find this on all streaming platforms, and I would definitely suggest picking it up on vinyl. If you missed my full review of this, go back and check it out. There's a link below where you can view that. So without further delay, this is part two of my wonderful conversation with jazz saxophonist Cristiano Giardini. Enjoy. Right. Well, let's talk about this record, and then we'll talk a little bit more about maybe your favorite saxophone players and records and stuff. But let's talk about this wonderful album, which is fantastic. I was listening to this the other day. I've listened to this many times, and one thing that I like is these are all your own compositions, right? From when I read,
Yeah.
and this is a lot of intense playing. So to tell me how this record came together, and how you picked or how did all the musicians come together on this? Because you've got Paolo Recchia on alto saxophone, Luca Manuzza on piano, Kim, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, Bayuko,
Something like
double bass,
Bayunco. Yeah.
and then Sasha Mashin on drums. So tell us how this all came together here.
Well, I really thank you for the opportunity. First of all, of course, thanks for all your positive comments, and I appreciate it. But I thank you also for I thank you to give me the opportunity to talk about the fellows because this record is a kind of son to me. It's my life. It's my second record, and also the first one to me was quite important. But this one has something more. Maybe each thing we do, then it becomes more and more important. This to me is my last one, and the period of the COVID, we had the COVID, and in Italy was tough. Well, I think, like I imagine all around the world, and we were sticked in the house. And I have to say that the first COVID period was quite interesting for the artist world because we were not stressed at all. We were at home. We could fix all the things we had to fix with relaxed time and calm, and we had the chance to think, and also we had the chance to force to make free all our ideas and and emotions. The first bureau was nice, so I started writing without consciousness. I mean, I started writing melodies, and that came to my mind. Maybe something I wrote, some melodies, some little part I wrote years before, and I start to put all these things together, but without the idea of making a record at all, at all. I just start writing. uh it happened also that uh my situation in Sicily, my music situation in Sicily, somehow arrived at a point, at a steady point. I felt like I needed more. I needed to do more. Maybe because I spent 10 years in Holland, maybe because I saw many cities in Europe, I played all around, and I don't know. Sicily was. I had the sensation that Sicily could not give more than that, and I could not give more to Sicily. Even that is important because it's like a both relation. So I did something that is quite unusual in jazz scene. I wrote to Luca Mannuzza on internet. I knew him because I followed him since many years, and I loved his playing, but I didn't know him at all. So I wrote to him, And I said, like, Luca, my name is Cristiano Giardini, and I'm a Sicilian saxophone player. And I love your music and the way you play and the way you feel the music, jazz music. So I I would like to play with you if you think it is possible, without any project or any. And Luca is very concrete person. Of course, he's amazing musician. He's really an amazing piano player, amazing jazz musician. But he's a concrete person. So he told me, "Okay, nice that you wrote me. Let's do like this. You send me some of your music, and if I like it, we can talk about it." I found it quite honest. So I sent it to him. Some of my music, my first record, and other things I recorded in the past, and I give it to him. And he said, "Okay, we can talk it about." And from there, we started to work and playing together. We had we built a first quartet with Mark Abramson, which is comes from New York City, and we had on double bass, and we had a couple of gigs with Mark, another fantastic musician. We played some yeah, old standard and some new composition, original composition with them, with Mark and with Luca. And said Luca told me, "Okay, Chris, we gotta record." And I told him, "What are you talking about? Record what?" There's no, we gotta record an album together. Absolutely. I said, "Luca, okay, I think you are a bit exaggerating, but it's okay." Okay. So I said to him, "Listen, I wrote something. So maybe you want to listen to this." So I started to give him all the charts of this record. And he felt like crazy, totally crazy. He said, "Yeah, we have to record it. It's beautiful." Okay. And I told him, "Okay, but I don't know. I mean, with musicians you want to record. I mean, okay, don't worry about the musician. I'll do it." So, so we start to choose a couple of names, and then it happens something unbelievable. The war between Ukraine and Russia. You know that. Everybody knows that. And Luca called me and he said to me, he said, "Chris, we have a chance. There is an amazing drummer, Russian drummer, that is escaping from the war because the situation in Moscow is quite dangerous at the moment for the people of his generation, for the guys of his generation." So this guy just took an airplane and came to Europe without knowing where he was going, like this. And he arrived in Italy. So I met him, and he's an unbelievable drummer. Unbelievable.
Yes,
So
awesome.
if you want, we. So I said, "Of course, fantastic, fantastic." So Sasha was in the record. Uh, Luca was playing with this guy that is Kim Bayunco. Kim is Sicilian, but it's a name that looks like, I don't know, maybe from the Galapagos, but it's Sicilian. It's this strange name, Kim Bayunco. And he's young and he's kicking asses at the moment in Paris. He's a fantastic player. So Luca said, "I have this guy that is great, young, but is great player. Has a good feeling, a good ears, and unbelievable timing, beautiful sound." Say, "Okay, let's take him." And then we were thinking about another soloist, another wind player. And I knew about Paolo because me and Paolo, we met each other at that premium you talked about in Baronisi. We were together, winning together. Me with my quartet and he with his quartet. We were equal winners. And so I thought that I want to have like another saxophone player. Why? Well, because quintets in jazz history has always this trumpet saxophone, uh, talking about Shorter, Coltrane, Lee Morgan, Freddie Hubbard. I mean, we know all the uh, Marligan with Chet, and I mean, we know many quintets. But there is a thing that I have, an idea that I have in my mind, a music idea. That is the Lenny Tristano Quintet with Lee Konitz and Warren Marsh.
Oh, okay.
But they are both saxophone players. So I said, okay, I need a saxophone player. They can play close to my playing, but differently. So they can be my alter ego, somehow. So I called Paolo and I said, Paolo, I want to have you on my record. And he was happy about that, and it was fantastic. It was a great quintet. Friends, we beautiful people, great musician, and then of course we needed a place to record.
Right. So,
Of course, the studio. The studio is like the most important thing to a musician. And Luca said, Cristiano, I know that there's this guy, Lorenzo, if you want to meet him. So I took the car and went there to his house, to Lorenzo's house. Matthew, you gotta go there.
his studio, Nightingale Studios, is at his house, correct? Is it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, Matthew. You gotta go there. You
I
gotta
would
take
love to see it.
the airplane and you gotta go there. You have this farmer house in the middle of the countryside, full of green trees, animal, horses, dogs, whatever, in a house that Lorenzo built it by himself.
Wow.
The studio, there is like stones and wood. Lorenzo did it by itself.
That's incredible.
And you get into this studio and this house with the grandmother that's cooking in the middle of the studio with the horses that come in the studio while you are playing. I mean, with the like food smell and animals
Wow.
and green and countryside atmosphere is unbelievable. The studio is all of that, and is of course full of these analog machines
All
that
vintage,
is
right? All
able
these.
to.
That's
So
incredible.
I said,
Yeah.
okay, this is my studio. This is the studio. The atmosphere is unbelievable over there, and the record is what it came from there. Man, this
Did
is
you
this
did
is
you
the
so,
story.
so you guys rehearsed before you went into the studio, or was that the first time that all of you came together, or how?
No, no, we had the chance to rehearse without Sasha, because at the time we didn't know about Sasha. Sasha came later, but we had a chance to rehearse and to record something before. And then we decided to make the album, and then we went to the studio. We just playing like jam.
Yeah, it
There
has
is
a
nothing in the record that is corrected
nothing
or double
overdubbed.
recorded or whatever. We
Everything.
just we just play live.
And how many takes did you just do? One or two takes, or when you got the take you
Two,
wanted, you just went
to
on?
each song,
That's it.
to each
Yeah,
song.
it has a very natural. I mean, of course, all Lorenzo's records sound fantastic. They're wonderful, but this record now, it's kind of based on kind of the journey, the Odyssey, right? Odisseya. It's kind of has that theme to it, right? But in the studio, did you still pass out the basic lead sheets so everybody kind of can follow through, and then everybody just improvises where they want, or how did that work in the studio? Or how many days did it take to record it?
Oh, you cannot believe it, but we recorded from 11 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon.
The whole
Just
thing?
it. All day. One day.
Wow.
We just went into there. We eat pasta. In the middle, we also eat pasta because this is nice. Because the grandmother was cooking pasta. So in the middle of the recording, we also eat pasta. But
That's
anyway,
awesome.
uh, we just decided during the recording set, okay, Paolo, you start first and I follow you, and or maybe Luca come after. No, we just decided there. It was everything was so easy, so fluent. I mean, we decided everything there. It wasn't. Of course, I broke charts for everybody in order to let everybody read. But this was the only thing. The rest is okay. Let what would we do? Okay, you make the intro and we do the team. Okay, okay. Who does the first solo? Okay, you do. Okay, okay. That's it. And we start playing.
Very spontaneous.
Absolutely
Yeah,
spontaneous.
it sounds
Absolutely.
like it sounds like that too. Just the and it's a very intense playing by everybody. It seems like everybody is not worried about making mistakes. Everybody is just playing, and it's a fun record to listen to. But it's also one of those records that I go back and I hear something new from each of the players on there. So for me, when I listen to a record like this, you can listen to it for just pure enjoyment, which of course is you sit back and just listen to it. But then you start listening to each individual player as you go through and you hear the different things and the interactions. And so I think that that's very interesting to listen to that from that perspective as well. It's one of these records that's very deep, I think, but it's also I don't know how to classify as to what jazz is kind of expanded. There's a lot of different types of jazz, right? This to me still has a roots sound to it, but then there's plenty of places where you guys are able to kind of go outside a bit. Can you talk a little bit about that, or how your idea of what jazz is going all the way, so we can go, you can look at bebop, the hard bop guys, post bop guys, you can go to fusion, avant-garde, free jazz. Give me your take a little bit about your approach as far as this record goes, as far as
Okay.
that.
Thanks again for the question and for the opportunity. I wanna tell you something about your first consideration. Um, this record is a challenge in a sense that I can understand if someone will tell me I don't like it. I don't like it because uh, it is too wild. For example, it is too maybe bad organized. For example, I can understand it, but this is my idea. Uh, I said to the guys before to record, I said, guys, please, please do nothing you already know. Please do all the rest. Take your risk. I mean, if you make a mistake, I made a lot of mistakes in this record, but this is the point. This is the point because I can always make mistakes. So it is much better if people know me when I make mistakes than if I do everything perfect and correct. I always hated this side of the jazz. Maybe because I'm not able. Okay, I can agree with that. I'm not at all able to play the perfect jazz line, like school jazz line. I'm not able at all. I like jazz because I can express myself. I wanted to play jazz because I want to be free. We are already in our life so strict to drive in a certain way, to talk in a certain way, to deal with people in a certain way, to speak with our boss or to our friends or to our wife or to me. Everything is to be square. I mean, when we play, at least we can do something more. When we express ourselves, we can try to be free. So even if someone would tell me, "Man, I don't like your playing because it's too much, it's confused, or I don't know," okay, but at least it's me. And of course, at least is the personality of each of these musicians, those musicians. So this is the first thing. Play whatever you like and don't give a shit about that. Then we have time to think about the results. Then we have time. Now we just play. Then if you talk about um, styles, of course I'm a son of the great tenor players, Rollins, Hank Mobley, Coltrane, and I believe you cannot play jazz if you cannot play saxophone if you don't know them. I mean, if you
Right.
didn't study them really deeply. And then of course people can say, okay, but when you play, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear the Coltrane in you, or the Sonny Rollins you studied. Okay, I can accept that, but I studied them really so much and so deeply. But all of them, all the Dexter Gordon, like,
Yeah.
and then all the moderns, of course, like Jerry Bergonzi is, I guess, is my idol. Jerry is one of the most fantastic and unlimited musicians I ever met in my music career. Joe Lovano, it's, I mean, you cannot even think without considering Joe Lovano. And Joshua Redman, I mean, it's, and then all the
Right.
new cats like Emmanuel Wilkinson or Diana Stevens, all of these musicians are, you know, part of a big concept. There is, you can say, modern art bop. Okay, I'm not fan of the bebop, but yeah, modern art bop, yeah, cool bop, yeah. I told you, I was mentioning before, like Warren Marsh and Lee Konitz. The second tune, it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue of. I'm sorry, but my phone sometimes. It's a dialogue. It's yeah, of the Lenny Tristano style somehow. This theme is a kind of cool theme, you know. So there are many things in my music. I like jazz. I love jazz, and I cannot put apart. I mean, some of these
Yeah.
because I like all of them. I like
Right.
Miles. I love all the tunes he recorded, and I love jazz. So everything is in. But if I have to consider myself, I have to say, okay, I'm a modern hard bop player. Let's say like this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think when I listen to this, I do hear, to me, elements of Coltrane or Sonny Rollins in there and these different influences.